This is the Imus in the Morning program on the Fox Business Network. And now, here's Diane Macedo.
Good morning, everyone. Greek Prime Minister George Papandreou has survived a confidence vote in Parliament. Let's check the market reaction to that this morning. First, in Europe, stocks there are mixed. You can see London currently down 29 points, Paris down 11 points, while Frankfurt is up 2 points. Also in the market, shares of Philips Electronics have fallen 12% after a profit warning. Here in the U.S., futures are lower ahead of today's Fed meeting and Ben Bernanke's news conference. Dow futures currently down 33 points. The S&P down 5, the Nasdaq down 9.5. Stocks rallied in the last session on optimism that Greece would avoid an imminent debt default. And speaking of Greece, they are another step closer to getting more bailout money with that no confidence vote. Robert Gray's in our newsroom with more details. But Robert, in the big picture of things, how much does this confidence vote really mean?
Well, it certainly is the first big step towards getting that $17 billion in emergency aid they need to stay solvent, at least until August there, Diane. And certainly this vote of confidence, just 155 out of 300 votes, so not a ringing endorsement there, and certainly outside of Parliament not getting one either. Some 10,000 protesters on hand. Police had to use tear gas to disperse the crowd. The final tally wasn't in until well past midnight, almost 1 a.m. local time, when they finally found out that the government would indeed survive, clear this first hurdle, and now they have to move on and try and push through new taxes and spending cuts to avoid default. Their debt now $500 billion, just about. That's 150% of GDP, so the overall total maybe not so much, but when you think about it in terms of that, certainly is rather staggering. The European Union and International Monetary Fund have already given Greece $160 billion in bailout funds. They now have a 2-week deadline to prove they are indeed on the path to reform. To these regulators, they would get $170 billion in additional cash now, a second bailout to keep them solvent, to keep the nation of Greece solvent through the year 2014. The IMF has warned EU leaders that a decisive action on Greece is necessary to avoid a widespread debt crisis, something we've been talking about in financial markets globally, Diane, are keeping a very close eye on the situation.
Indeed, and investors here will also be keeping a close eye for what Ben Bernanke has to say after the Federal Reserve wraps up its 2-day meeting today. Bernanke will hold a press conference this afternoon, only the second time he's ever done that after a Fed meeting. The two big questions will be whether the Fed has a plan to support U.S. banks if Greece does default, and will the Fed keep printing money when QE2 expires at the end of the month. Join Fox Business for live coverage beginning at noon Eastern Time. The Bernanke news conference will come in at 2:15. President Obama today will outline his plan for withdrawing U.S. troops from Afghanistan. Reports say up to 10,000 troops will be brought home by the end of this year, but that still leaves 20,000 troops who were part of a surge 2 years ago. Military commanders want them to stay through the fall of 2012, but other advisors are hoping they'll be brought home sooner. We'll find out tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, and Fox Business will carry the president's statement live. Now let's get the latest on weather from meteorologist Maria Molina in our Fox Business Weather Center. Hi, Maria.
Hi, good morning, Diane. We're tracking a storm system that's been producing severe weather over the past several days across parts of the Midwest. And guess what it's going to do today? More severe weather across parts of the Midwest, interior Northeast, down and through eastern portions of Texas. And we're already starting to see some batches of heavier rain across parts of the Great Lakes and also across parts of eastern Texas, actually very heavy out there. And the other problem with this storm system is that I think we're going to see a lot of travel problems if you're doing any traveling along the big I-95 cities or even into Atlanta's Hartsfield International Airport. Some thunderstorms today. Diane.
Thanks, Maria. Now here's a look at commodities. Oil, gold, and silver all down at the moment. Coming up this hour, Imus's guest will be Imus Ranch co-founder Deirdre Imus and Fox News legal analyst Lise Wheel. Imus in the Morning continues right now on Fox Business, the power to prosper.